With William, that's Shakespeare to you, there is another story going on behind the main one. I could have been Hamlet. Malvolio, Limoncello, my niece's steward, has ideas above his station. Many times have I fallen in love in his dark wings, longing in my youth for the dances, dying in my teenage years for the pale Juliet, yet maturing with desire for the leading ladies.
Is this your first time in Romania?
It is. This is my very first time in Romania.
And how much did you manage to see in this city? When did you arrive and how long will you stay?
I arrived Saturday early, at 12, and didn't see much that day because I fell asleep, because I had to leave England very early in the morning. Like, I had to leave my home at 2 o'clock to get AM to get to the airport, and so I fell asleep, so I didn't see very much. And I've seen the inside of 3 theatres, and I intend to go again tonight to see another one.
We have only 2 of them. I don't know which one was the third one.
I saw one in a warehouse and 2 in Flex.
Oh, that wasn't a theatre.
So
that's a club. Usually for concerts or parties. I don't know. That's actually a rock club. Tell us about yourself a bit, about your profession, about your acting career.
Oh my God. How long have you got? Okay. I started really professionally when I was 20, in working in a holiday camp for like Butlins, being an acting ASM, and then for 3 years I did weekly rep, which is learning one play, then putting that play on, but rehearsing another play while you're putting that play on. So you learn one play a week, and you just about get hold of a character, and then you have to throw him away. And then you do another one, and you do the same thing. And they're mainly like Agatha Christie plays that they did. You know? They wouldn't touch things like Pinter because they're too heavy. They were too, you'd never get hold of them in a week. It's impossible. Then I started doing 2 weekly rep. And that was a lot easier. Then I started doing loads of tours around the country, in theatres, in England and Scotland mainly. And I did my first TV all those years ago, in 1973. And I've done quite a bit of telly, a few films. I've been lucky enough.
Can you give us some examples? Some examples.
Okay. Okay, here's a story for you. I was laying in bed at home, and there was a letter come through the door for me. It was a casting report, so you know where you see castings going on. And one said mafia types wanted for a Charles Bronson film. Now, at the time, I've got to be honest, I had jet black hair, and there was some in the middle. And I thought, I'm a mafia type. I can do mafia. So I phoned the casting director, who said, hello. And I, hi there. And she went, yes, what can I do for you? I said, I hear you're looking for mafia types for Charles Bronson film. And she said, that's right, we are. Okay, well, I'm a mafia type, you know. I said, okay. Right, what's your name? And I told her. And she said, okay. Right, come see the director tomorrow at the Hilton Hotel, 12 o'clock. Oh, by the way, are you American? And I went, no, I'm English. And there was an audible silence. Really audible, you know. And I thought, oh shit, I've blown it. And she went, okay, come see the director anyway tomorrow at 12 o'clock, Hilton Hotel. So I went to the Hilton, got there 5 minutes late, so they sent me straight up to the door. Now, I dressed myself in a nice mafia type jacket, black shirt, pink tie. Okay. And I knocked on his door, but he had someone else in there, and he just said, come in. And I opened the door and I framed myself in the doorway. 6 weeks later I was working in Switzerland. So yeah, that's the first film. No, that's not the first film I ever did. The first film I ever did was just standing on a thing, singing a song in front of a very famous English actress. But from then I've gone on to do other films and series and stuff. So yeah, I was lucky that they didn't mind the con man.
What was the most challenging play of yours?
Jesus
both in
Christ.
theater and both in film.
The most challenging? Toby Belch.
Yep.
Toby Belch.
Why is that?
Because it's the first time I've ever done a one-man show. And when my friend said, could you do it? I went, you're having a laugh, right? You really think I could do this? And he went, well, you've just read it, and I can't do it after that. So yeah, can you do it? So we learnt it. I was as nervous as hell. And yeah, the rest is history.
What was the reaction of the public back there in
The first
the
time,
UK, yeah, for this play?
they laughed. They laughed, they cried, they loved it. They thought, you know, they were like, wow, okay. And that made me go, my reaction to that was, oh, okay. It wasn't like last night though. Last night was something special.
Why is that?
Why? I'm doing Toby Belch to a Romanian audience, okay, who, on the whole, even though there was a translation going, do not really get, are not going to fully understand the English language, although they understand Shakespeare. The wonderful thing is, the laughs came at the right time.
I think they did
Yeah.
understand.
The body language, I don't know. I think that theatre is universal, and that to me is a wonderful thing. It was a challenge. It was a challenge to me to do Toby Belch last night, but in a good way, not a bad way, in a really good way. And it made me, I don't know, humble, very, very humble to see that reaction last night. Extremely humble. Because, yeah, not even in England have I had that reaction. I've had the, you know, the laughs and the standings and everything, but not that sort of reaction.
But the number of the public was, I guess, smaller, significantly smaller than in London, for example.
No.
I guess, isn't it?
No, it was more.
Really?
Yeah. I've played it to 2 people.
Wow. Okay, what can you tell us about the independent theatre in the UK?
What can I say about independent theatre in the UK? Okay, we're trying to build the independent theatre because all the arts grants have been taken away. You fill in masses and masses and masses of forms. You fill in the budgets, you fill in everything, all the way down from the production values, all the way down to props, all the way down to everything. And then you send it off. And you might not get the grant, so you have to put your own money in. And that's the hardest thing. Because what happens then is people possibly don't come and see it, or they do come and see it. If they come and see it, you might get some money back. If they don't come and see it, you've lost a lot of money. So it's a battle. We are now, unlike Ukraine, not Ukraine. Shut up, go away. Unlike Romania, we are now in a situation where theatre was not really a standard for everybody going through school, for everybody being brought up. It was one of those careers that, oh, you can't do that, you don't want to do that. No. What do you want to do that? Oh, really? You want to read Shakespeare? No. Don't do that. Who do you think you are? What? So we were fighting an uphill struggle with that. And we're still fighting it. Because all the, as I said earlier, all the grants and stuff have been taken away from independent theatres. In fact, the English National Opera, who was thought to be one of the mainstay big theatre companies, big opera companies in London, have had their grants totally taken away, unless they move to Manchester. So the state of the independent theatre in the UK is probably the same as here, fighting for money, fighting for recognition, fighting for creating new things, and not really being as subversive as we are. We don't want to be that subversive. All we want is a place.
But the competition is also significantly bigger there. Does that make your role, your projects harder to realize, or is it a good thing that the competition is harder? I mean, lots of actors, lots of plays, lots of theaters.
They're always there. They've always been there. It is and it isn't. In a good way, it makes you work harder. In a bad way, people are more selfish. We need to collaborate more, and some people do, and there are others that don't. Okay, I did a short film in Italy many years ago, and silent film, just music. And they had a lady set up a film festival, a short film festival in Hastings. And I entered this film into it. And I think she was expecting something that was not of those production values. Because she actually came up to me afterwards and said, "Sidney, I didn't realise it was going to be that good production-wise. I thought it was just one of those films." And I went, "No, we did send you a copy. Obviously you didn't watch it." So, yeah, when there are people like that, that makes the job much harder. Because really and truly, you should all be in each other's corner. You should all be fighting for each other, rather than being competition for each other. Why do you want to be competition? Let's do it together. Yeah, okay. If you're going to push me, then I'm going to try and be better. I'm going to try and be much, much better than I am. But I would do that anyway, without you trying to push me. So, no. And that's the sad thing. Now, I've just had a text message from a friend saying, Sid, I've got another film, I'd like you to do when you get back. And I went, okay, send me the script, and it's that's what it should be about, not people knocking each other down, not being a part of a whole. And that way, as soon as you get to work with somebody, that when you look into their eyes on that screen, they're not going to try and steal the focus. They're not going to try and rip you off. You're going to be a community together. And the film or the play is the whole, not the individual.
What is the future of theater in your opinion, considering the rise of streaming services, the internet, etc.? Is there a significant downfall in the UK because of this?
Yes, there is a significant downfall in the UK because of it. Ironically, since a certain action, we've had less tourists in the UK. So there are less tourists going to the theatre. And the basic English person, the man on the street, cannot afford to go because the tickets are so damn expensive. If you think, they earn £13.40 an hour. So you've got to work 5-6 hours after paying tax to be able to buy a seat in the gods to watch a theatre. And you need to pay for your food and your rent and everything else. So yes, there has been a downfall from the English public, not from tourists. Tourists will go, but from the English theatre going public. They make it, if and when they do make it, they make it a special occasion. The sad thing is, and I've heard this a lot from friends, that there are people that are so used to the Netflix culture, watching on television, sitting at home eating crisps, that they're rattling bags, opening bags of crisps and eating them in the middle of a scene that is supposed to be quiet. So yeah, it's really, I do think that Netflix, Amazon, Disney, Apple, all the others are stealing the audiences, along with AI, along with games, along with everything. There are many more levels of entertainment now, and they don't need your attention. They don't necessarily need your wholehearted attention.
So will theatre survive? What is your opinion about that?
I think it will. I think it will because I think it will go full circle. I think because people will see through AI eventually, and they will suddenly realise, hang on a minute, I need a human interaction. Because, well, that's just my belief. I think we all need human interaction. Because otherwise we are just as good as the AI. We're going to sit there and degenerate.
Have you ever considered directing a play or writing a play? Or do you just focus on acting?
I cannot write. I cannot write. I know that. My fingers know that. My brain knows that. I tried it.
Hey, I can do that.
No, AI can't do it. It can, but it can't. Because I put something into AI saying, give me that on that subject written in Shakespeare, and it did it wrong. Because it wrote everything in iambic pentameter. What I wanted was a non-lord, and I gave it non-lord. So it should have given me normal day speech. It didn't. So it can't do it.
What about directing?
Directing. I did once. I did one play. But then I had to go to India and do a film. So I couldn't stand around and watch it. So I don't know what the actors did with it. It was okay. It was frustrating because there were certain things that annoyed me with one person that I was directing, and no matter how many times I told him, he did the opposite. And I thought, okay, you're doing it deliberately, so bugger you, I'll leave you alone. And I don't know how that went down with the audience because I wasn't there to see it. But no, I could direct, I suppose, if I wanted, but the frustrations would be, I think, too much. Because I'd rather be doing than not.
Is there a favorite role of yours, both in theater and film?
A favourite role? Oh, Jesus.
Or more favorite roles?
That I've played or I would
Yeah.
like to play? Shylock.
Sherlock?
I'd love to play Shylock. I'd like to play Petruchio, but I'm too damned old. I'd like to play, oddly enough, Olivia's dad, Polonius, because I think he is completely misunderstood, and he's such a complicated character, so highbrow and but for some reason most actors make him comedic, and he isn't. Christ.
Okay, how about roles you did have?
Oh God. Wow. I played a mad archaeologist in a film called Hanuman in India, which was absolutely wonderful to play. Totally a nutcase, complete nutcase. Christ. I've played villains. I never get to play the straight man. And I wonder why. I must admit, I've had enough of playing Italian people. Even though I'm Italian, I've had enough of playing Italian.
You're Italian? So
Yeah.
you weren't born in England?
No, my mother was Italian. So,
But you were born in London?
yeah.
London.
But
Okay.
this is Italian.
Last question. What advice can you give to the young generation who choose the path of acting, the path of theater, the path of film?
Okay. Look, listen, watch people, watch life. Don't let anything go past without seeing it. If you're in a rehearsal room and you're not needed, and the director says to you, okay, clear the room, he's going to play, put your hand up and say, can I watch him, please? Because 9 out of 10 times the director will say yes. Just got to ask the actor. And if the actor says yes, you're learning a lesson. You're learning your trade. It's easy. And people say, or let's put it this way, Robert De Niro said, if you see something you like, nick it, because it then becomes yours. But it's not about that. It's about observation. It's about learning different techniques. It's about trying different things. You might not be able to do what that other person did, but you won't know until you've seen him do it and then try to do it. So that's what I would say to young people. Don't just get out of the rehearsal room. Don't just think you leave the part there. You don't. What happens off stage is relevant to what happens on stage. When you walk off the stage, your part, your character is still there. When you walk back on, it's a continuation of what happened out there.